Let me tell you a story. Are you familiar with the Greek myth of Narcissus? To put it in a nutshell, pretty much Narcissus is a guy who fell in love with his own image. He saw his image in a body of water, like his reflection in something like a pond, and he was mesmerized by how beautiful he was. Like, who is this handsome young man? And he couldn't get his own eyes off of his own reflection. He fell in love with himself, and he couldn't take his eyes off of his own reflection in the water until he just withered and died because of his obsession with himself. And that's where the word narcissism comes from. And I'm kind of seeing some correlation between that and between the way Apple behaves in at least some of the products it's been releasing for a while now. Now, I'm not saying Apple does that with all products, but if you look at the Apple Vision Pro, the iPhone Air, which I thought was the most interesting new iPhone, just for a matter of being different, but if you really look at it properly, the Apple Vision Pro, the iPhone Air, liquid glass is a feature in the newer iOS. These are all, in my eyes, examples of Apple just falling in love with themselves so much that they're prioritizing themselves, not us, not the users. We matter more, Apple. You exist because of us. And back when Steve Jobs was around, the focus was us. It reflected in the way he gave keynote presentations. It was simple language, simple slides, focused on us, on the user, and how the iPhone was made to serve us, and how it helps us. It was all focused on the consumers. The Vision Pro and the iPhone Air and liquid glass seem to be things that Apple made just because they fell in love with their own reflection, with their own image, with their own engineering prowess, with their own engineering capabilities, not because they fell in love with the consumer, with the users. They fell in love with their ability to make something, so they made it because they could, not because they should. And that's why the Vision Pro didn't sell. That's why the iPhone Air didn't sell. And I think that's why liquid glass as a feature is really not a great idea. The liquid glass example, actually, there may be a bit more to it. I have a feeling that liquid glass was some higher up director or something, executive in Apple, that wanted their design team to push out features so they don't lose budget in the new year or something. So they just wanted them to make anything. So they came up with liquid glass because they were able to make it, and it looked kind of cool, I guess, to some people. So they pushed that, and they forced it on us when it can actually make things harder to read for some people. It's just, Apple needs to go back. And I'm not saying they do that with all products. I mean, look at the Mac Mini, look at the MacBook Pros, but Apple needs to go back in their general lineup of products to focus on us. Just because you can make something, that's not the point, Apple. The point isn't to show how amazing you are at engineering. The point is to show how amazing you are at making things that help us as best as you can possibly make them. To help us. We, the users, we, the consumers, should go back to being the center of Apple's attention, the focus of Apple's attention in all of its product lineup.